President Obama is pushing his new plan to help U.S. companies insource, bring more jobs home. In his weekly address, the president urged Congress and businesses to get on board. And to help make his point, Mr. Obama showed off some items made in the USA. CBS News correspondent Elaine Quijano tells us how one U.S. company is insourcing.
My name's Tiffany. How may I assist you today?
After 7 months of pounding the pavement, customer service agent Tiffany Edmonds is happy to be working steps away from her newborn son.
I don't have to put him in daycare. I don't have to fight traffic. Gas is very expensive.
Our job is to educate the customer on the first contact.
Janet Hess, a customer service instructor, came out of retirement when her husband became ill.
I did not want to compete with a 25-year-old for a corporate position again.
Both women are part of a trend to bring call center jobs back to the U.S. from overseas, a move that's actually better for business.
If you're calling because you need to get your snowblower repaired, speaking with somebody in India who likely doesn't even know what snow or a snowblower is will be a very difficult conversation. I think really
Angela Selden is co-chairman of Arise Virtual Solutions, a Florida-based company that's bringing 11,000 call center jobs back home to service Fortune 500 companies like Walgreens, AAA, and Carnival Cruises. Arise calculates that to solve a customer issue, overseas operators require 2.3 calls for every 1 call answered in the U.S.
If you have to do 2 or 3 calls to get that single question answered, in the end, it's about the same or even slightly more expensive to have it done offshore.
They're part of a hopeful trend. They are bringing jobs back to America.
Selden was invited to the White House this week, where President Obama made a pitch to bring manufacturing jobs back home. But this repatriated job comes with a catch. Edmonds gets no benefits or overtime. In return, she can set her own hours and work for the companies she chooses.
Altogether, it's working great for me.
Edmonds makes $10 an hour now, but there is room for advancement to trainer, supervisor, or sales. Maurice.
Elaine Quijano, thanks so much.
If you could work anywhere, where would it be? If you said at home, you won't want to miss this. The Balancing Act has learned of a way to work with Fortune 500 companies and other big businesses as a virtual agent. That means no suit, no commute, unless you count the steps to your home office. This sounds so good. Here to explain is Angela Selden, co-chairman of Arise, the leading provider of virtual business services. Good morning.
Good morning. It's so nice to see you today. Thank you so much for letting us tell our story.
No, I'm telling you, I'm even interested, and I know a lot of my friends that, want to be stay-at-home moms, and they have children, so this is really good. First, tell me what virtual business services means.
Sure. What we're finding is with the invention of technology and the low cost of having technology in someone's home, you can actually provide work and not have to drive to a building to do so. What we do today is mostly call center work, so it's customer service calls or sales calls or technical support calls. You can sell cruises, you can help folks with roadside assistance for the AAAs. You could actually even provide handset technical support for people who have mobile phone problems. And you can do that from the comfort of your home. It's very green because you're obviously not commuting and using the energy only in your home.
Correct.
And you also have all the advantages you talked about at the beginning, which is not having to dress up.
No.
You get to choose the hours you wish to work, and you can work it around your family's life.
Excellent. Now, there must be a lot of demand for work-at-home agents, I'm assuming.
Well, we have over 20,000 small businesses, people doing this work in our network around the United States, in Canada, and in the UK. And we have a need for another 11,000 people in the next 6 to 9 months as we ramp up for the 2 really important seasons in some of our clients' businesses, the retail season and then the travel season.
That's awesome. Now, besides working at home, which is a great benefit, we know that, what are other benefits of being a virtual independent contractor?
Well, what is very exciting for people who do this every day is they have the ability, number one, to choose the client or clients that they want to provide service to. So we don't actually tell you to choose a travel client or choose a retail client. You get a wide variety of choices, and you choose the one that you love the most.
Based upon what maybe interests you.
Exactly.
Okay.
What interests you, if you're interested in doing customer service versus sales, or you're interested in doing technical support, you get to choose the client. Then on top of it, which is even is more relevant to many of the folks that are probably tuning in here today, is that you get to choose when you work each week and how often you work. And so you may, for example, have a child who's in a sporting event, so you can schedule yourself differently each week in order to be able to work around your kids' games.
Here's a question. Does it take a special person to do this? Because when I think of a car salesman, you got to know how to sell. You know how to make that sale. Can anybody do this?
We believe that there's a wide variety of people who are great for this kind of work, and we offer different kinds of things for those folks: sales opportunities, customer service opportunities, and technical support opportunities. And we help you figure out what you're better suited at when you go through the upfront setup process with us. We'll give you some information about what we think you're going to be good at. We do find that there are some common characteristics, though. First, we want people to be a self-starter. And what we mean by that is you have to remember that each day you sign up to work, we're counting on you, and the client and its customers are counting on you to show up for work every day. So you have to be reliable and be willing to show up. We also want to make sure that you can type reasonably quickly, because we want to make sure we're delivering great experiences, so we want people to move through the calls rather quickly. And we also want to make sure that you're comfortable in creating a small business. This is really a small business opportunity, and we find that our 20,000 folks love to be business owners and really proud of the fact that they've created a company for their family.
Is it easy to set up?
It sure is. And in fact, if you go to Arise.com, there's a step-by-step process that we walk you through that helps you understand how to get from interest all the way to certification on a particular client.
So if I had a business at home and I was doing this, wouldn't I need certain equipment? I mean, is it a lot? Am I going to invest a lot of money to get started?
We find that you will pay off whatever money you have to spend within the first month of doing work. And if you have a computer in your home already, then the cost is even, it's nominal. You set up a phone line and a data line, you do a few administrative things, and you're off and running.
All right, so what if someone, you know, like me, that has a job, but I'd like to make a little bit more money on the side? Can you do both?
About 25% of the folks that actually are in the business network today have a full-time job and actually do this and choose programs that they can work nights and weekends to be able to supplement their family's income. So absolutely, we'd love to have you as an Arise agent. We love it.
I'm actually interested. And I guess, I mean, I don't need a dollar figure here, but tickle my fancy and tell me, what can somebody make if they start doing something like this on a part-time basis?
Sure. The big programs where you can earn the most are really on our sales programs, where you get commission and, or a bonus, and you can make up to $30 an hour on those programs. If you're a more customer service-oriented person, you can earn between $10 and $14 an hour, and those also can have bonuses and incentives tied to them as well to allow you to earn a little bit more.
And how do you know if somebody is producing?
Well, we actually have an organization of people that helps the folks make sure that they're hitting their performance goals and is there to answer any questions if they need any help.
So you got to be responsible and do the right thing and do the job.
Absolutely. We find that people who are able to show up for work every day without someone being there monitoring them, and who are self-starters, motivated, and highly energetic are the folks that are great for this business model.
Let me tell you, this has been really great information, especially for a lot of women out there that are staying at home and would like to get a job.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And if you would like more information out there, check out the website, arise.com, and click on Work at Home. We've got nothing to lose.
Let's talk about that. Two companies. Let's talk about two companies, not big companies, two companies that are hiring. Angela Selden is the CEO of Arise Virtual Solutions. She's here with us. David Martin is the president of Homestyle Foods. Good morning to both of you. Angela, let's start with you. You are looking to hire 11,000 people. I thought it was an error when I first heard about you.
Between now and the end of the year, we have 11,000 work opportunities for people in the U.S. and Canada. We're very excited about that opportunity for folks. It's a work-from-home opportunity. It's flexible, so people can work around either a full-time job or around a part-time job that may not be giving them the hours that we heard about in the last topic, and gives them the flexibility to choose how often and when they work.
And so this is part of the whole push toward contract work, toward doing work where you're not necessarily attached to a big company, but you're doing work from home. You might not have the big company benefits package either, but you are getting some work.
That's right. What we're seeing is a real change in the way American workers think about the social contract with their employers.
Right.
They want flexibility. They want the ability to choose when they work and how often they work, and they want to have the flexibility to choose which clients they service or what they do.
These are call centers. Basically, you're taking calls. Your customer service person about $14 an hour.
It could
Probably
range anywhere from $12 to $30 an hour, depending upon
So when
the
I'm
type
not calling
of work.
Carnival Cruise Lines, I could be talking to somebody who's working for you.
You absolutely would be talking with someone who's working for us.
Okay, Angela, you're almost the opposite of all this outsourcing trend. You're actually, we just assume call centers go to other places like India and the Philippines.
That's right. And one of the things that we think the government can do is create an incentive for companies to repatriate those jobs. We've seen 1 million call center jobs go offshore in the last 10 years. And if we can create a one-year benefit for a company to bring those jobs back onshore, it's tremendous infusion of opportunities for people to work. We also find that the cost is very neutral for companies in the U.S. We did a study and found that on average it takes about 2 or 3 calls to get your question answered if you're speaking with someone who's not familiar with what you're asking about, because they don't have the cultural connection with the product or service. You do that call onshore with someone around the block rather than around the world, and that'll be answered in one call, and the cost is about the same.
Right now, jobs are returning to the U.S. from overseas, believe it or not. One industry seeing a big reversal in the outsourcing trend, customer care. Instead of sending work abroad, the work is getting done right here on American soil. Jonathan Seri live in Atlanta with some examples. Jonathan?
Hi, John. Some people like to call it home shoring, and what's driving this trend in large part is complaints from customers. Callers say it's harder and takes longer to resolve customer service issues when they're talking to someone who doesn't speak the same dialect or share the same culture. So an Atlanta-based company called Arise Virtual Solutions is trying to meet the demand by hiring Americans for customer service jobs that often had been outsourced to developing countries. Listen.
In the last 10 years, over 1 million jobs have been sent to India or the Philippines in the customer service call center space alone. And what companies discovered was that while that was great from a cost perspective, what they were losing was the connection with the customer.
The internet has helped make this domestic business model work. Instead of manning a traditional phone bank, these customer service agents mostly work from home as independent contractors and set their own hours. Many say that flexibility compensates for the relatively low pay. Agents say their customers are pleasantly surprised when they find out they're talking to someone in the U.S. and tell them it's important to them. Listen.
They want to know that you're in the United States because they want to know that, you know, their business or whatever they're paying for memberships or whatever it is staying here.
And John, with high unemployment rates, there is a vast pool of people with business skills, technical skills, and customer service skills who are hungry for this type of work. John?
Yeah, nice to see some of those jobs coming back to this country.
Reason to believe a third of those new jobs added last month are in retail, although some are temporary. This could be good news for those desperately seeking a job. Joining us with more insight is CNBC's Sharon Epperson. Sharon, good morning. Good to see you.
Good to be here.
Let's talk about this because, as I understand it, this is the best time for people to get out there and try to put in an application somewhere.
Well, actually, a new survey came out this week from Cronus showing that 4 out of 100 applicants in the retail sector is getting a job. So there is a hiring increase that we've seen. In fact, it's the best that we've seen since the fall of 2008, particularly for the retail sector.
And we're looking at that. Where are the jobs? Retail would be logical. It's the holiday shopping season. Stores need to add more people there, but restaurants as well, because you've got more folks going out and eating.
And it's the second largest industry in America, and a lot of folks want to work in restaurants during this season. Of course, this is the time when a lot of people are making those reservations. But the other thing with the restaurant industry is traditionally they've had a difficult time retaining those workers. And so now, as the economy is picking up, as their sales are improving, they're expecting hiring to increase this month and into 2012.
That's great, especially if the restaurant, for example, is a small business, because it works out for both businesses.
And that's exactly where the job creation is happening. It's happening in small businesses and medium-sized businesses, people with 500 or fewer employees. That's where the real growth is occurring right now.
And Sharon, we're also seeing people land jobs in shipping services and some of those call centers.
Well, virtual call centers, that's a great job opportunity for people who want to stay at home and still be employed and kind of choose your own hours. There's one company called Arise Virtual Solutions, and what they do, they actually allow you to be an independent contractor. You can choose the company you want to work for based on the type of industry, based on the hours you want to work, and you're making like $10 to $14 an hour working from home.
Yeah, but you know, again, this is good news in some respects, but on the other side, a lot of this is temporary work, and it would seem logical. You got to raise your family, you got to pay your bills, so you want or hope that this would turn into a permanent gig for someone.
Well, that's what you would hope, and what's really interesting about these numbers, yes, we're seeing an improvement overall in the employment numbers, but the number of people who have left the workforce, who have become discouraged workers, that is really at levels that we don't want to see. So what people need to understand is this is an opportunity. It's not properly the perfect job for you, perhaps, but it could become a full-time job eventually. And a couple of things that you could do to make sure that you get hired is you want to make sure that they know, first of all, that you want that job.
Right,
make sure that
speak up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Speak up. Act like it's a job interview. I mean, they've hired you maybe just based on an application. Now you're going to really prove yourself and do every type of job. You may be hired for one position. Try to do as many as you can and be flexible about the hours you can work. Become indispensable, and then maybe you'll stay on. And if you're not hired full-time this time, the next seasonal hire may be you. So the next holiday season, summer job, they'll turn to you first.
Great insight and advice. If the door opens a little, just kick it on
That's
through
right,
if you can.
that's right.
All right, Sharon, thank you. It's always good to see you.